The longer-awaited Pixel 6 watch is finally here, and here are my few thoughts on why I think it's actually a very bad deal. First things first, I am a Google fan. Nothing beats Google for me. I love the stock Android experience, and using a Pixel phone is actually one of the best choices I have ever made. We all know Google really excels at good software and AI. They've had so many years in collecting, all of our data, so it's something they have nailed down to the T, and they do it very well. But hardware, I think, is actually where they always fall short. Now, with introducing the Pixel 6 watch, we're all sort of waiting to see, we were all waiting to see how this watch is going to turn out. With the Pixel 6 and the Pixel 6 Pro, we experienced a lot of bugs along the way, and with the software updates, some things got better. But the hardware issue that couldn't actually be fixed was the fingerprint reader. That was a nightmare. I can't speak for the Pro model myself, but with the Pixel 6, that fingerprint reader is still to this day a nightmare to use. Some days it just won't even work at all. And they say with the Pixel 7 that has gotten so much better and faster. I mean, we'll wait to see how that turns out. I'm sure people, other tech reviewers, more well informed than I am, will have more detailed information about that. But with the Pixel Watch, I am a little bit intrigued about it because it has two things that make it a bad deal for me. First things first, the battery life. I personally use the TicWatch E. It works well for me to this date, even though I got it in 2018. Now, with this watch, if you turn off all the GPS tracking and heart monitoring features, you can get well over a day battery life with it. But when you turn on all those features, like I do, especially because I'm trying to keep track of my health nowadays, this watch needs to be charged 3 times a day. I charge it in the morning when I wake up. I charge it late afternoon to beef it up again, and then I charge it like at midnight before I go to sleep. That's a lot. That's a lot of charging. And with the Pixel Watch, they say it's going to get you up to 24 hours battery life. But here's the thing with Google, with all of their products that they have done in the past, they tend to overpromise and underdeliver. Now, the Pixel Watch has to the second heart rate monitoring. That's a lot of juice to be pumping out of a battery. I mean, the Pixel Watch is very small. That thing is thin, at least from what I see in the videos. It's very thin, and so they can't physically put a bigger battery into it. The best thing about it, I mean, it runs OS, Wear OS, and it's coming straight from Google, so you're gonna get like all the updates fast, like the Pixel watches, and that's great to know. But the battery life, they say it's gonna get you up to 24 hours. I am willing to predict that it's gonna fall way short, and especially for people who are gonna be using it for all of the other fitness features, GPS tracking, exercise workouts. I'm going to wait to see what other people say and what they experience about it, but I'm willing to predict that it's not going to get you 24 hours. Not even close. Another thing that's a little bit curious to me is the design. It looks good. I think it's pretty. It doesn't stand out as like a massive fitness watch on your wrist. At least it's less conspicuous than this watch. So I think it looks good in that way until you notice those fat bezels. When I saw those when I was watching the keynote and I saw those bezels, I don't know, because the bezels, they look huge. And I don't know if it's something that's going to disappear with using the watch over time. They are using a lot of dark UI with the watch. So almost everything that you'll be using on the watch has like a dark theme to it. So you'll barely notice the big bezels around the watch. But I'm guessing if you like, in the daylight and you kind of use it, with an angle or something, when the light hits it just right, you'll go and see those bezels. And if you're someone who cares about something like that, I don't know if it's something you're going to end up not noticing the more you use the watch. But I mean, I still think I think it looks like a really cool design. The watch straps look cool. I'm not sure about the straps and how they fit in. A lot of the reviews I have seen from that keynote say that it's a bit difficult to use and maybe gets easier over time, but I don't know. My other gripe with this watch is actually the Fitbit integration. I'm a little bit confused by it. It seems like they have made a Fitbit watch with Wear OS. And they're also, it looks like they're actually making it so that the people who buy this watch have to also pay for the Fitbit premium features. That doesn't quite make sense to me. Why would you pay $350 to for a watch and then for a smartwatch that's supposed to have, sports tracking features and then have to pay for that sports tracking features or like any health metrics? Because you're going to have Fitbit Premium on the watch, but then it's still going to have Google Fit. But they're pushing for people to use Fitbit. The whole thing doesn't quite make sense to me because I'm willing to predict that in the future, not even long after now, they're actually going to cancel, get rid of Google Fit, which it disappoints me because I personally use Google Fit. The UI is simple. I mean, even a child could use it. That thing works well. It may not have the most detailed metrics. I mean, that whole hard points thing, still don't get it. But still, if they only had to like flesh out the details a little bit more, they could have left Fitbit on its own, because the Fitbit watches are still coming out, and maybe put like a little bit of Wear OS on them, but kept the Pixel Watch a Pixel Watch and made Google Fit more prominent. They could have gotten some of the features from the Fitbit watches and software and then integrated them into Google Fit. So you have two different watches. You still get the Fitbit, and the Fitbit loyalists will still get their watches with a tad bit of Wear OS on them. Like how the Samsung watch has it, it's Samsung bloatware on top of Wear OS. So they could have done that for the Fitbit, but for the Google Pixel Watch, they should have left it, you know, purely Google and then just fleshed out the Fit part of it. Hey, that's just my opinion because it doesn't make sense to pay 350 and then, for the LTE version to pay 399 and then pay for Fitbit on the same watch. I don't get it. All in all, I think this watch it's for a specific user. For some people like myself, I don't know if this watch actually would work for me. I need a watch that sort of can take a little bit of dinging because with this watch it has raised bezels and it's also plastic. It's not exactly the most premium build watch thing, but this thing still looks like it's in good condition. So every time I'm sort of, moving against the wall and I ding it against the table or something, I know my screen it's well protected. It even has a glass protector, so I mean this thing still looks like the day I bought it and I've had it for a few years now. But with the Pixel Watch, you have that dome-shaped glass. It's not even sapphire glass, by the way. So I'm willing to bet that thing, if you're sort of like someone who has to do a lot of workouts and physical, you're going to be dinging that watch quite a bit. And I'm going to wait for what the other viewers, when the embargo lifts, I don't know, like in a week or so, they're going to have tried out the watch and they're going to, talk about the experience with it. The watches like the Apple Watch Ultra, you can see they built that thing to take a hit. That thing looks beefy. I mean, it's chunky, but it looks like it can take a hit. With a Pixel Watch, it looks like it was, built for regular people who just happen to want to track their fitness. Like, if you wearing it to work or it can even look like an everyday watch. It doesn't look like a fitness watch because of the way it was designed. And that worked for some people. I could even get this watch for my mom and she can wear, I know she would wear it because of the way it looks. But I know she would hate having to charge this thing all the time. I know that for a fact. So there are people like myself who purely because of that and battery will not get this watch. Also, if you tack on that heavy price tag, the whole thing is a little bit tricky for me to understand. But personally, myself, I've been waiting for this watch for a long time. I wanted something to complete my Android experience. I'm a Google fan. I use the Pixel phones. I'll probably keep using them for many years to come. I'm waiting for them to build like a Pixel laptop, something to rival the MacBooks. That's probably not going to happen in my lifetime. I don't know. But after waiting all this time, seeing what they have, and I do I believe in my heart that the first iterations of any Google product are always not great. Anytime Google releases the first of something, it's going to have bugs from here till Monday. So, with that in mind, would you go out and buy the Pixel Watch? Not for me though, not for me. So I've decided to go a different direction. I went out and did my due diligence. I looked for a watch that has great battery life, durability, and more detailed fitness tracking, but most of all, Wear OS. I do want the Wear OS experience. And with the watch that I have found, it is running the latest chipset, with the Snapdragon 4100. So I know it's going to have Wear OS 3, and it's matte black, so I'm gonna go with that. That's one of my favorite things about it. Battery, longevity, and durability. Those are my main features. Does the Pixel Watch have that? No. So I'm gonna stick with my guns and get the TicWatch Pro 3. So if you liked anything about this video, and if you have your own thoughts and comments about what you think about the Pixel Watch or any of the new gadgets that Google has come out with, leave a comment down below on what you think, and if you would actually think about getting this watch. If you had all the money in the bank, all the money burning a hole in your pocket, would you actually get this watch? Let me know down in the comments below. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you in the next one.